Our next speaker is Michele Eshelman. Do I have that right?
Woo!
How unlibertarian our drug policy is.
It's been a while since I've spoken in front of people, so I'm a little nervous. I represent the Libertarian Party of Nebraska, and for those of you who don't know, you can register as a Libertarian in Nebraska. Ballot access laws make it difficult for us as a party to grow, but I ran for office 2 years ago, and due to polling 21%, we were able to keep the ballot access for 2 more years, and we had legislation changed this past year to keep it for another 2 years. So small changes, hopefully will make big changes in the long run. But anyway, I do encourage you to register as a Libertarian, and although I do understand that changing the GOP from within, I admire Ron Paul for everything that he's done to support our issue, because they are the same issues that Ron Paul advocates for. I don't see a whole lot changing from the GOP from within, so I think it's time to stop trying to change the two-party system. It's broken, and it's corrupt it's so entrenched and sick. It's time for a new party, and that's the Libertarian Party. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Libertarian Party, but support NORML, we are the only political party that will back you. We are the only political party that agrees with what NORML stands for and agrees in the legalization and decriminalization of all drugs, not just marijuana. As Libertarians, this is the preamble on our website. As Libertarians, we seek a world of liberty, a world in which all individuals are sovereign over their own lives, and no one is forced to sacrifice his or her values for the benefit of others. We believe that respect for individual rights is the essential precondition for a free and prosperous world, that force and fraud must be banished from human relationships, and that only through freedom can peace and prosperity be realized. Consequently, we defend each person's right to engage in any activity that is peaceful and honest, and welcome the diversity that freedom brings. The world we seek is to build one where individuals are free to follow their own dreams and their own ways without interference from the government or any authoritarian power. Gary Johnson is the Libertarian presidential candidate. He will be on the ballot in all 50 states, and he needs our help in order to do so. I mean, how many of you probably know the VP was in Omaha last Wednesday at Cassia's Steakhouse? Probably nobody. You? Oh, awesome. I was there. The media actually did show up. It was one of the few events that we've been able to get the media to come to. Of course, they come, they see a smaller turnout, therefore don't further the cause, and you continually are in this endless cycle of trying to build something. To build something, you have to have people and money, but people and money don't want to contribute to something that's not growing. And it's really, really hard to get going. So any support that you guys can offer, your time, writing letters, everything that he said is, we go through the same struggles as NORML does. I won't go through all of my things today, but some issues I have on a pamphlet back there is what the Libertarian Party believes as far as the drug policy goes. And the pamphlet goes into how drugs, how unlibertarian the current policy is, because it goes into how drugs turn drug users into criminals. A lot of drug users aren't violent people. They're not hurting anyone. They're just, we believe they should be able to do what they want in the privacy of their own home, vehicle to an extent, there's, you don't want to be intoxicated while driving, obviously. Current drug policy creates black markets. You can't go to the courthouse and say, hey, I got a bad bag of whatever. There's no recourse. A lot of people die from when ecstasy was the thing, from people making it with substances that people OD'd from, and they died. There's nothing, courts can't help you there. The corruption of law enforcement personnel, you've seen plenty of that. The overcrowding in prisons, Amy touched partly on that. I have a whole list of statistics. A lot of you may know the United States has the largest majority of its population in prisons. 20% of that population is for non-violent drug offenders. It's ridiculous. That system needs to be changed. The burden to the taxpayer, we pay our taxes over $1 billion a year for cops, for prisons, for DEA, for all of these government programs that need to, go away and be smaller. The inhumane laws to regulate marijuana specifically, or cannabis. I think we like to think we live in a humane world. Like a lot of the stories that you share, they touch your heart because people are dying without the help of this herb, and we live in the United States of America, who would have thought that you'd be denied something that can help save your life? Yeah. It's destructive and unconstitutional, our current drug policy. Plain and simple, it's unconstitutional. I have statistics on Portugal. There's evidence that decriminalizing drugs does not automatically dictate that usage is going to go through the roof and you're going to have a bunch of messed up people all over the place. That's not the case. It actually shows that addiction goes down. I think it's kind of the chasing, you want to be bad thing, and so you do all this stuff, and then you get caught, and then you're in that cycle. So it's like whatever, you already have a record. So I don't know. It just becomes really sick and really hard for people to pull themselves out once you've been labeled, either incarcerated or even labeled as an addict. Really, it can follow you around for a long time. There are Gary Johnson 2012 bumper stickers back there. Please take one. We purchased them. I gave a big donation to purchase them. Please take one. Take as many as you want if you know someone who would put them on their car or put them anywhere. I don't really care. I just like to know that the message is getting out there. So please help yourself to any of the literature that I brought. Yeah, get involved. And thanks for having this event and for inviting the LP. We appreciate it and are here to help you however we can.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michele. It's hard to argue with what Michele said. Maybe the most vile of all the drugs I've ever tried is one that's legal, alcohol. I've seen more deaths, more destruction, and funny, they're one of the main contributors keeping cannabis illegal. The parallels of alcohol prohibition. There was bathtub gin that blinded and killed countless people. Now we have bathtub salt and spice and K2. To get around UAs, we have a substance that really isn't causing a lot of problems, and now we've got substances that are just wreaking havoc. But thank you. It's about time that people wise up. Switzerland, they have needle exchange programs, and they have people on government heroin programs and turn them from junkies to people who actually get their meds, their heroin from the government, whole jobs. Portugal, they legalized, crime went down, addiction didn't go up. Yeah, it's a subject we could talk about all day.